Well, he's always has to play on those types.
You ready, guys?
Brad, how do you feel about the game, firstly, in terms of you conceded a lot of inside 50s and still managed to win? It was an interesting outcome.
Yeah, which has been unusual for us this year because we've really usually been able to have the inside 50 column go in our favour. I think that largely we're looking to get a bit more bounce out of our defence. So, potentially players started to get back in defence rather than try and push the ball forward. So, that wasn't a great part of the game for us, and particularly in the first half, all their key forwards looked dangerous when the ball was kicked in long and high. So we had to change some things up with our defence, and they defended much better in the second half.
Was there thinking before the game, though, that there was a chance that Richmond would push up so far to lead and just keep scoring on the break clock?
Yeah, that was something we talked about and spoke about again at half-time. But, I think that you've got to look at the strength of your side as well, and for us that's our key forwards, and McIntosh and Petrie look dangerous as forwards at times. So, you don't want to take away your strength just to try and exploit the opposition. So, it was trying to find that balance.
What did you make of Lindsay Thomas's game? Did you give him a bit of a serve when you took him off there? I think it was in the second quarter.
Yeah, I gave him a serve, but it was a pretty simple message. I just told him to put the knock on back in the kit bag and mark it. Bodyline the football, because the effort wasn't what we were after. So, but he did some terrific things. Really instructed well at half time to the rest of the midfielders and defenders as to how we wanted to move the ball forward. I thought that showed terrific leadership from Lindsay, and then he capped it off with the first goal in the second half. So, some ups, some downs.
But the game sort of defied the theory or the trend of teams not playing for a whole lot. And the game sort of fizzling, but today both teams challenged at times, both came back and sort of rallied.
I think it's just great for football. I was heartened to hear Damien Hardwick's comments that points matter more than draft picks, and for people out there who still think that clubs think that way, particularly where Richmond is and where North Melbourne is, we're about winning. Both teams were desperately wanted to win today, and you can talk about for Brady Rawlings, for Hamish McIntosh's 300th, for all those things, but basically, we wanted to win for North Melbourne. Richmond wanted to win for Richmond. So, both teams were hell-bent on doing that.
What do you think of the year in entirety? Do you see it as a success?
No, I will never ever sit as we're about to go on, or the players are about to go on holiday tomorrow, as a success when September's just arrived. So, no, we're not where we want to be. So it's bitterly disappointing that we're not there. But it does direct our pre-season a fair bit in terms of what transpired this year. We had specific deficiencies we needed to address last year. I think we've gone some way to addressing those. But there are still some things, and to put it very, very bluntly and very simplistically, our skill level and our efficiency with the ball needs to improve. And it's let us down at stages this year, both in front of goal and with general field kicking, and we need to improve that.
The whole Brady Rawlings experience, as you were saying, he has to play on pacey small forwards.
Yeah.
You get older and your pace probably fades a bit, but he battled hard and he probably got beaten, but he probably showed that he was manful to the end.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think he was the leading possession winner on the ground for the first 15 or so minutes. So he's been an inspiration to young players in how he's approached his football. And people forget that. I'm sure that people talk about Brady Rawlings and he got the most out of his ability, but you shouldn't forget he is a first-round draft pick. He's a talented player. He has been over a very long period of time. He's won 3 Sid Barker medals. So what I'm about to say shouldn't lessen his talent and natural capability, because he's got plenty. But he has also extracted maximum amount from that talent, and it's considerable talent. So he's a player that sets a great example, along with Brent Harvey, as to the way footballers should prepare themselves to play in this competition. And I think quite rightly a lot of credit should go to Dennis Pagan in the way he coached him in his early early days, because my understanding is Dennis rode him extremely hard, and those back in those days, players either got through it or they didn't, and Brady got through it with flying colours. So he epitomises, what we want to be.
Brad, are there things that need to be done off the field? I'm referring to, I think you made some comments on the radio today about the additional service agreements and the level playing field that you would like to get to. Does that need to be addressed? Is that something that clubs are talking to the AFL about?
Oh, we don't need to, because the AFL are talking to us about that. The Commission and the AFL executive are acutely aware of that, and they're doing an enormous amount of work in that area. The question I was asked is, what do we need to do, and do we have an indication of what that will be? Well, the CBA needs to get sorted out before we can start planning for next year. So that's critical, but I think that all parties know that.
Are you going to be an active player in the trade market? And try and, talk about key offenders. I know they're not easy to get in the trade market, but you can have a go.
Yeah, I think that it's not as simple as people think it is. You just go into the trade market and you start doing deals. I mean, you've got players who are contracted. What I will say is that we are absolutely hell-bent on improving our playing list. So we'll leave no stone unturned in trying to improve, because we are where we are and it's not good enough. So we've got to improve our list. We've got to improve across the board, players, coaches, everyone involved at the club. So, and we'll be really aggressive in trying to do that. But I can't say that, what opportunities are going to present themselves. And I've been asked questions about particular players quite regularly, and they're all our players. We don't go in with a mentality that we're going to trade anyone or we're not going to trade anyone, and we'll just be hell bent on improving our list.